and that means actually
changing institutions, dismantling whiteness, and not allowing whiteness to reassert itself. But we're pretty much light years away from that.
Are you retarded? What the fuck are you talking about?
What?
You're white.
and that means actually
Changing institutions.
Wait, what? Jesus. Maybe I'll watch this movie tonight.
To be an honest. And so this time, Dean Cain isn't flying there. He's going through that obstacle course and training to be an honorary ICE agent. He was working hard out there, and this is exactly what those recruits will do as they're picked one by one. And they're at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Brunswick, Georgia. This place is amazing.
Okay.
Powerful movements.
Practicing the escorting a 13-year-old girl to the White House move. Jesus Christ. Let's see. Lawsuit to challenge the Texas map redrawing. The fuck is this? Hassett has got your back, dog.
He is all of a sudden Ethan decided, like, I hate Hassan. He is responsible for everything that's ever happened. If you're pro-Palestine and you're a female content creator, he will call you every name under the sun. Okay? If you're pro-Palestine and you know, a visible content creator that's like actively being attacked by the Trump administration, stalwart ally of the Palestinians / major liberal Ethan Klein will literally demand that the administration take action against you. Okay? He will sue you. He will take action against you. Call you a terrorist over and over again. He will try to get attention from advocacy groups to try to get you deplatformed. Okay? You spend months trying to fucking humiliate these people. Now you got a guy who's actually fucking, you know, not holding back. You got a guy who's actually not holding back, and this is what you have to say? Like the way he has talked about Denims, the way he's talked about Frogan, the way he's talked about me, the way he's talked about Ian, iDubbbz, Anissa, versus the way he's talking about Destiny, who is super pro-Israel, and by Ethan's own admission, is a person who wants to fuck 15-year-olds, and he's like, I love you. You're the
I like how it gets younger every time they mention it. We'll be fucking fetuses by the time Ethan's done with this video today. Jesus.
Go. You're a huge inspiration.
Jesus.
That it was adding congressional map. Florida has been growing. It's been growing a lot since I've been governor, but even before that it was adding population, not at the same rate.
Is this white balance off, or is he getting orange as well? What is happening with everything?
And we got shortchanged in the last census. We should have had 2 or 3 seats. We only got 1 seat, and that was really the Biden administration's doing.
What, like they deleted a couple tens of thousands of people off of your population count? What does that even mean? What?
So we are working with the Attorney General in Florida, James Uthmeyer, to talk to the Commerce Department. He's written a letter. Even Biden's administration a couple years after acknowledged Florida got shortchanged. So we're asking them to
Yeah, the well, wait. People are saying 2020 census, by the way. Wasn't the 2020 census, did that get delayed 1 year because of COVID or something? What did I read about this? I feel like there was something that did get delayed a year. I don't remember if it was like redistricting or... But I mean, I don't think that fucking, I don't think Biden, this is retarded. Obviously, this is retarded.
Redo that as best they can, award us another seat. That would obviously trigger us have to do a new map if we went from 28 to 29 or even to 30. So that congressional map.
Three-hour analysis of Dr. Mike's failures as a bodybuilder. What?
Well, he used to have nothing
Not evil Mike.
but the utmost flattery.
Yeah, until I was mean to him.
And Lyle, listen, I think you're brilliant. I have the utmost respect for Lyle. I think Lyle probably smart.
The dumbest bodybuilder, with no degree, with no anything, could figure out and look at what other people have done for contest prep and make it work, right? There are, Duchesne once pointed out that most bodybuilders are not rocket scientists. And they're not, because he even said, he's like, how hard is it to diet from 10% to contest?
Okay. San Francisco mob assaults 4 ICE agents in shocking video.
More on all those stories ahead, but first, another
Census fact check. It was counted in March to October of 2020. Damn. It was the deep state then.
disturbing attack on ICE officers. A mob assaulting 4 agents in San Francisco, even threatening their families. Christina Coleman is live in Los Angeles with more on this. Christina.
John, dozens of protesters rallied outside of San Francisco's federal court building waiting for the release of a person who DHS identified as Adrian Guerrero, a U.S. citizen who federal officials say assaulted ICE officers and threatened law enforcement by saying, quote, I'm going to go after your family and I'm going to stab you. Guerrero, who identifies as a woman and goes by the name Angie, was charged with assault and destruction of federal property after allegedly slashing the tire of a government vehicle. DHS says it happened on Wednesday when a group of about 15 to 20 violent anti-ICE rioters in San Francisco assaulted, grabbed, punched, and pepper sprayed ICE agents who were conducting targeted immigration enforcement in San Francisco, in that city. DHS says they surrounded and assaulted 4 federal agents. DHS says, quote, while standing at arm's length from an officer, Guerrero made repeated threats stating, quote, I'm going to F you up. I'm going to go after your family and I'm going to stab you. DHS says Guerrero was also in possession of a black knife and patterned headscarf during this incident. Guerrero was later granted bail and surrounded by supporters after being released and had this to say about the situation.
I'm good, despite the brutality and repression that the federal government is placing on this city, my city, the city I was born in.
The attack on law enforcement in San Francisco was yet another example of violence against immigration agents. DHS says ICE law enforcement are now facing a 1,000% increase in assaults against them as they risk their lives to arrest the worst of the worst criminal illegal aliens. Despite all the violence, immigration officials continue to carry out their operations in various cities nationwide.
We're making Los Angeles and California a safer place. We're going to continue to do that, and they can take that one to the bank and cash it.
And as for that attack on ICE agents...
Wait, wasn't that... Am I just hallucinating, or was this is when they were outside of the where Newsom was speaking, right? That's what this video is from, right? Yeah.
That, and they can take that one to the bank and cash it.
And as for that attack on ICE agents in San Francisco last week and those allegedly involved, Guerrero now faces a maximum penalty of 1 year in prison and a fine of up to $100,000. John?
I'm surprised the maximum isn't even higher. Christina Coleman. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Thank you for your input on that one, Chief.
President Trump announcing Intel has agreed to give the U.S. government a 10% stake in the company. Joining us right now, talk about that and so much more. We're going to talk about Jay Powell and everything else. White House National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett. Kevin, it is great to see you this morning. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
So here's the question. Ronald Reagan famously said the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Right? You remember that line? And it's a line I think that's been used by Republicans for the last several decades, until maybe Friday. Can you explain the rationale behind taking this 10% stake?
Right. Well, it's not really a taking, right? The bottom line is that because of the CHIPS Act, the U.S. government had decided to give a whole bunch of money to Intel. And the President Trump and Howard Lutnick, Secretary Lutnick, talked to Intel about the progress they were making and the hurdles that they had to hop over in order to get the money. And I don't think they're particularly happy with that progress. And so in the end, they worked out a deal where Intel is going to get the CHIPS money. But in exchange, we're going to get some equity. And equity is not voting. So there's not going to be government intrusion into the business of Intel. It's more like a down payment on a sovereign wealth fund, which many, many countries have.
Kevin, though, is this the beginning of a larger effort?
So we're pro sovereign wealth fund now, then, or
effort by the U.S. government to take equity stakes in other industries that we subsidize, or other companies in the AI and chip space that we subsidize? So a good example is AMD. Another example might be Taiwan Semiconductor.
Right. Well, I think this is a very, very special circumstance because of the massive amount of CHIPS Act spending that is coming Intel's way. But the president has made it clear all the way back to the campaign that he thinks that in the end, it would be great if the U.S. could start to build up a sovereign wealth fund. And so I'm sure that at some point there'll be more transactions, if not in this industry, in other industries.
Okay, so we should expect.
And so I'm clear all the way back to the campaign that he thinks that in the end, it would be great if the U.S. could start to build up a sovereign wealth fund.
Has Trump ever said that? Ever?
And so I'm sure that at some point there'll be more transactions, if not in this industry, in other industries.
Okay, so we should expect the U.S. government to be taking more equity stakes in businesses around the country. That is something that if you're a CEO this morning watching us, you should say, okay, the sovereign wealth fund may be coming and trying to effectively buy in some kind of equity stake.
It's possible, yeah, that's absolutely right. You know, that if in the past, the federal government has been giving money away lickety-split to companies, and the taxpayers have received nothing in return. And so now what's happening with the Intel deal is the CHIPS Act money is going out as planned, but instead of it just going out and disappearing into the ether, the U.S. taxpayers are getting a little bit of equity. I can really not see how anyone would think that's a bad thing, unless you thought that the government was then going to go in and run the company. But these are going to be shares that don't have voting rights. The government's going to stay out of it.
Well, it goes back a little bit to the Ronald Reagan quote that I started with, which is when, for many, many years, you know, you and I used to have conversations about Solyndra and how I think you thought that was a terrible, terrible mistake for the U.S. government to be getting involved in. We have been exporting.
Yeah, but this is different because now it's Trump, which makes everything.
The idea of a free market around the world for as long as I can remember, and this is a major shift. Do you not agree?
No, I think this is a very special case of Biden committed the money. You know, President Trump and Howard Lutnick were very clear that they wanted to.
Can you explain this and how would the U.S. taxpayers benefit from it? I mean, theoretically, there's you can have a thing called a sovereign wealth fund, which personally I think is a pretty cool idea. The idea is basically that your government just it buys, and it's like running a like a pension fund almost, except the government is invested in a whole bunch of companies across the economy. And I think the idea would be like if companies are succeeding really well, there's like some kind of dividend that's paid from that sovereign wealth fund to U.S. citizens, which is like a good idea. It's a cool idea, I think. Because then I think it gives all of us some kind of investment in the success of our companies, right? Right now, if like Amazon or Nvidia or Facebook does really well, I mean, the average American, unless you have stock in that company, doesn't really care. They're not very invested in the success of those companies. They don't really feel it very much. So the idea of a sovereign wealth fund existing is like a cool way, I think, for your country to, for all of the citizens to benefit when the companies in the sovereign wealth fund are successful. Let Trump explain it?
This is an executive order.
Okay, sorry, yeah. We'll let Trump explain it.
Discharges your Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, and your Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, to begin a process that will hopefully result in the creation of an American sovereign wealth fund.
It's a very exciting event. We're going to have a sovereign wealth fund, which we've never had. We have a lot of things that create wealth, and you're seeing that over the last 2 weeks. I think we've created more wealth. Other people have created de-wealth, the people, my predecessors. We're creating a lot of wealth. Scott, maybe you'd like to say something about it, and I'd ask also Howard to say something about it.
Yes, sir, this is very exciting. We're going to stand this thing up within the next 12 months. We're going to monetize the asset side of the U.S. balance sheet for the American people. We're going to put the assets to work, and I think it's going to be very exciting. We're going to study best practices as done around the world. It'll be a combination of liquid assets, assets that we have in this country as we work to bring them out for the American people.
The extraordinary size and scale of the U.S. government and the business it does.
He's hiding his hand? No, this is 6 months ago, dipshits.
With companies should create value for American citizens. If we are going to buy 2 billion COVID vaccines, maybe we should have some warrants and some equity in these companies and have that grow for the help of the American people. So I bring all these things together. I think Scott and I will create an amazing sovereign wealth fund for you, sir.
Why not just spend that money on the debt? Isn't interest on the debt a bigger issue? No. I understand why you might think that, but the debt and everything doesn't actually matter at all. If you actually check, the way to understand like the negative impact that the debt and then interest on the debt is having in the United States is you have to actually look at who the president is at any given time. So like from 2017 to 2021, the debt actually didn't matter. Now under Obama, the debt was a huge deal, really, really bad for him to bail out companies and everything. Under Bush, it didn't really matter. Wars overseas, Iraq, Afghanistan, but whatever. Bill Clinton, we don't talk about him because he ran a budget surplus. Under Biden, debt super bad, very much not good. But under Trump right now, it doesn't matter anymore. That's cool. It's irrelevant. Okay, so you just have to keep in mind whoever is in office determines whether or not the debt is good or bad. If it's a Democrat, then the debt is horrible, and inflation is the biggest issue, or interest on the debt, and running budget deficits is literally the worst thing ever. But when a Republican is in office, there's always a very good reason why they have to issue more debt constantly.
So other countries have sovereign wealth funds, and they're much smaller countries, and they're not the United States. We have tremendous potential in this country, tremendous. You're seeing that, what's happened just in a short period of time. And as an example, TikTok, we're going to be doing something perhaps with TikTok, and perhaps not. If we make the right deal, we'll do it. Otherwise, we won't. But I have the right to do that, and we might put that in the sovereign wealth fund, whatever we make, or if we do a partnership with very wealthy people, a lot of options, but we could put that as an example in the fund, and we have a lot of other things that we could put in the fund, and I think in a short period of time we'd have one of the biggest funds, and some of them are pretty large, I must tell you. Some of the Saudi Arabia fund is on the large side, but eventually we'll catch it. But we're going to create a lot of wealth for the fund, and I think it's about time that this country had a sovereign wealth fund, and these two gentlemen and some others are going to work with them very closely, and they'll be heading it up, and they're going to do a great job. Two highly respected people that have done unbelievably well in the world, in the real world. So that's a big deal, huh?
Yes, sir. I think it's going to create value and be of great strategic importance.
Wait, why economists don't like sovereign wealth funds? Hold on. Establishing a domestic sovereign wealth fund to invest in infrastructure, emerging technologies, and or strategic... Let's see. Ooh. Would bring substantial benefits to the U.S. economy over a 10-year horizon. Oh, yeah, I mean, it's not here to benefit the economy, though, right? This would just be to help on the fiscal side or to give money back to the citizens, no? For a typical advanced economy, something would be substantially better for citizens relative to paying down the debt as a use for excess revenue. Oh, well, for even this, they disagree. Huh. I wonder why. There are certainly potential infrastructure investments with public good characteristics, but whether a fund would/could be governed in a way that would maximize such investments is really not clear. Yeah, the governing of that fund might be weird. Cost versus benefits. Benefits include improved national security, e.g. economic resilience to geopolitical conflict. The cost could include misallocation of capital caused by rent-seeking behavior interacted with political governance. Yeah, okay, maybe, yeah. These are not interesting questions. Building up a sovereign wealth fund requires that the government run a surplus, which is so far removed from reality as to not be interesting. Okay, yeah, all right. Destiny. Governments are the worst allocators of all time. Norway is a special case. What couldn't you nominate a separate board, kind of like how isn't one of the best funds in the world the Canadian pension fund or some bullshit? Would it not be possible to have people just make broad investments in the markets? It doesn't have to be we're going to buy 10% of these massive companies, but just basically a S&P 500 tracker or something like that. No.
To continue to let the money go out.
I'm retarded. Can you explain if this investment gives the Trump government some kind of soft oligarchical leverage over Intel? Can they now blackmail them and force their people into high company positions? Yeah, but we don't really talk about that or care about that anymore in the United States. We've completely and totally moved on from that. The tariff regime made Trump basically the king god of every individual company in the economy. But we, as Americans, we've decided that we don't give a fuck about any of that. So I don't care about that complaint because nobody else cares about the complaint. So, but yes. Having a sovereign wealth fund that is independent of the executive would probably be important, ran by other people, and it would have to include a ton of companies, not just one. That's really, really, really fucking weird. If I was a company in the United States that made microprocessors and I saw that the U.S. government just bought a 10% stake in Intel, I mean, what the fuck am I? I feel like I'm fucked at that point. I don't want to compete against You're competing against a state-owned enterprise at that point, right? I'm competing against Intel and the United States government. Fuck me, right? Yeah, it's not. Just doing it individually is like the worst. It's retarded.
Because the paths weren't being crossed, the hurdles weren't being crossed. And so I think it's a very special case. But again, the general principle that if the U.S. government is able to create a situation that benefits everybody, then it should benefit the taxpayers too.
But if you're saying that this is really just the beginning of more as it relates to a sovereign wealth fund or something else, it would be suggestive of something very different. And I wonder how we in the United States and maybe even around the world should think about the idea of national champions, which is something that we've been, and the Republican Party in particular, has been quite critical of for years.
No, I mean, we're absolutely not in the business of picking winners and losers, but this is not a thing that is unprecedented. If you look at it right now, the U.S. government owns most everything of Fannie and Freddie. And the president, led by Bill Pulte and Howard Lutnick and Scott Bassett, are studying what should we do with that equity in Fannie and Freddie right now. They've been bringing in Wall Street leaders to discuss it as well. And so it's not unprecedented for us to have a little bit of equity in something. And again, what President Trump wants to do at all points in time is maximize the value of taxpayer dollars.
Well, let me ask you this then. In terms of improving the future of Intel, one of the things that it needs more than anything else is demand for its chips, which it does not have at the moment. And so there's two ways to get there. One is just make better chips, which they need to do. But the other is they're going to have to find customers. And the question is whether you believe that this administration is going to use its influence with other companies that would otherwise be the buyers of these chips to buy said chips. We had a period of time, remember, where Gina Raimondo in the Biden administration was trying to persuade Amazon and so many other companies to buy these chips unsuccessfully at the time, but criticized, if I remember, by Republicans for doing such a thing. So do you believe that someone from the administration is going to call up any of the tech companies and say, you know, you're building a data center, we'd love for you to use Intel chips?
No, I don't expect that's what's going to happen. I think what is going to happen is with the cash inflow that they've gotten, in addition to some money from outside private funders, Intel's going to get its act together and once again become the leader in chip space.
Can I ask one related question? Because I wonder if you think there's a historical sort of rewrite of history. Some people have suggested that the Biden administration should have taken equity the first time around when the CHIPS Act was first put in place. And the reason I'm curious about that is because I think at the time it was clearly to incentivize chip companies to come to the United States, do business, build fabs. And the fabs at the time were considered uneconomical, meaning companies didn't want to do this unless they could be subsidized. Now, maybe you could argue that given the tariff regime that's been put in place, it's changed the economics of what the playing field looks like today. But at the time, I think it would have been very difficult to go to these companies and say, I'm going to give you cash, you're going to give me equity, because I think they would have said to you, then please don't give me the cash. Am I wrong?
Well, again, if you're a company that's losing money, the equity doesn't have much, if any, value. And the bottom line is that President Trump is building an America first. A company that's losing money, the equity doesn't have much, if any, value.
What is this guy's job? Or am I misunderstanding? Well, that didn't make any sense. Equity has value because you have equity in the company. You don't need revenues or profits or anything. You could be losing money and still have the equity still has value. Maybe he's just speaking casually. I don't know.
And the bottom line is that President Trump is building an America First agenda that includes, as you say, tariffs, which will make it so that people are much more incented to bring their production onshore. And so 100% we expect that companies like Intel that are onshoring production are going to become increasingly profitable because of the president's trade policy.
Kevin, it's Will Fair. I wanted to move the conversation on to the Fed. Did you welcome the tone of the chair's speech on Friday, the pivot, I guess, that started to appear?
Right. Yeah, I think that the pivot was accurate. It was data-driven. You know, if you look at the trailing 6-month inflation rate, it's 1.9%. Core is about 0.5% higher than that. And so inflation has gone way down. Meanwhile, the economy is looking strong, but not too strong. And so I think it's
where does this inflation has gone way down? Are we just ignoring the last numbers?
For the Fed to consider now doing what federal funds futures markets are saying they're going to do, and that's cutting rates. And so I think that the Fed's a little bit late to the game, but I thought that the presentation that Jay Powell made up at Jackson Hole was sound.
Maybe there's still time for Jay Powell to have his term extended and you won't be considered as the replacement.
Oh, shucks, I don't know.
you think it's impossible to get back in the president's good books for Jay Powell?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
And when do you think he'll make up his mind, the president, for the vacancy there?
Well, Secretary Bassett is running a thorough search process. There are a number of really excellent candidates being interviewed by him and the president, and I would expect that this would run out for another few months before the president decides.
Kevin, Leslie Picker here. I'm curious kind of where things stand with the Section 232 review, especially in light of the strategy with Intel, with MP Materials. How are you strategically looking at kind of protecting national security crown jewels in this country, given the tariff picture as well as the potential to take stakes in certain companies?
Right. Well, you know, we've got 232 investigations and 301 investigations, and then also tariff deals that were cut left and right. You know, we've got the Koreans coming in today to hopefully finalize the deal. The bottom line is that, as you saw earlier in the spring with the rare earths and the magnet.
Do you agree with any controversial takes Hassan has? Yes, I agree with every single thing he says negatively about Ethan Klein. That's what I agree with.
That it's unacceptable if a potential adversary has control, a chokehold on the American economy. And President Trump's team has studied the U.S. economy and studied our trade patterns.
Wait, why are people saying Cox? Hello?
With foreign countries that
back.
They're identifying things that need to be onshored for national security reasons. And so that's what's going on with that.
Kevin, I'm really interested in a broad point here, and not the specifics, and I know you wouldn't try and comment on how a foreign government should...
Nice donor class internet. Thank you. I don't know. I wish I won. Somebody asked if I disagree or if I agreed with any of Hassan's controversial takes. I said I agree with every negative thing he says about Ethan Klein. That's what I agree with.
Should run themselves. But a country like the UK, a deep ally of the US, who's already done the trade deal in large part going forward, should the UK, the big part of the discussion, as you know better than I, with all sorts of different trading partners, has been the topic of non-tariff barriers and different tax structures and things like that the president wanted to be removed. And then we see a deal like this with Intel, where the government is taking a big stake and helping with investments. State support might be a generous phraseology, but it's not a million miles from that. Should countries like the UK think along the same line? Should we invest in domestic champions to try and compete, or would that count as a non-tariff barrier that we're not allowed to do?
Well, I don't think it's a non-tariff barrier. If you look at the non-tariff barriers, they're literal barriers, right? They're things that say, for example, if the food is genetically modified, or if we have Roundup on the fields or something, then we're not allowed to ship the agricultural products. And one of the things I think is a great victory of all the trade deals that we've been striking with President Trump's leadership is that we're doing away with those non-tariff barriers so that
all the deals, by the way, that's zero so far. Still zero. That's zero deals so far. Okay.
we will be able to, after this Korean deal, sell U.S. cars in Korea. We will be able to sell U.S. agriculture.
Seriously, what is the best thing Trump has done in his second term? Age.
Multiple products into Europe. We'll sell beef to the UK. And so I think it's a completely different thing. And again, the Intel deal is something that we inherited from the Biden administration, a commitment to give them chips money. And we made a better deal than Biden did. And that's why U.S. shareholders, U.S. taxpayers own about 10%.
Can I ask you a slightly different question about tariffs? And I'm sure you've heard the same thing. If you talk to some of the automobile makers, for example, they will tell you that we are, because of the way the tariffs are set up, and even the cost in the United States of building cars here, that actually we're creating our own silos. So this idea that we're going to be exporting our cars to other countries, we may have the opportunity to do such a thing, but we can't do it in a competitive way relative to the other car makers that are outside of the country, China, obviously, and some others. And so I'm curious how much business you think we ultimately pick up with the quote-unquote opportunity to export versus the opportunity to just raise prices here in the United States?
Oh, I think there's an enormous amount of opportunity to pick up business. And the way to think about it is that we've got countries like Korea and associations like the EU where they have their own regulations for cars, and unless the car passes exactly those regulations, then we're not allowed to ship the car there. And they could be very, very different.
Yeah, welcome to regulations. That's what a regulation is, my friend.
From what you're allowed to do if you're going to sell a car here in the U.S. And if you're thinking about selling an American car into Korea, then retooling a whole factory to meet the Korean regulatory standards just doesn't make a lot of sense. And so I think that harmonizing on those regulations has been a key feature of the trade deals that we've been negotiating, and it will absolutely open up markets for U.S. products.
Okay. Kevin, it's great to see you this morning. We appreciate you taking the time on this final week of August. Just as busy for you and I, but hopefully some people are watching us from the beach. Thanks.
Yeah, like Joe.
For their sake.
Let's get to Intel. This is very interesting.
Shut up.
Great to be with you. So what's behind this? I know this is more of an Interior Department thing, but what's the problem with this wind farm in Rhode Island?
President Trump's been very consistent. He's not a fan of wind, the economics of it. He's also been
hates the wind.
Spoken on environmental impacts to fisheries. And we saw a Section 232 decision for an investigation out of Commerce, which was news over the course of the last day or two, looking at windmill imports from out of the country and analyzing whether it's a national security threat. So now you add the national security impact with that decision from Commerce. The president, he's not a fan of wind. And there are leaders in Congress, governors of states, who talk about wind as if it's a substitute for baseload power. Our country needs more baseload power. We need to unleash energy dominance, and it's just not. I'm
sorry, has anybody ever said this? I keep hearing all the time these people saying this, like, you have problems where you can't deal with load if, the wind isn't always blowing and the sun's not always up. Like, has anybody ever said we need to get rid of literally every single fossil fuel manufacturing thing and replace all of it with turbines? Like, who's saying this?
Not an honest approach to this entire energy conversation if we start acting as if wind is going to be a substitute for all these other things. We need more natural gas. We need to build more pipelines. Coal plants are essential for states and regions across the country. We have to be smart about our energy policy. And President Trump's been pretty darn consistent about it the whole time.
Mm-hmm. But you look at what this does. This project was apparently largely almost finished. You've got AI. You've got the electrification of everything around us. I mean, we just need power. I mean, why would you take any power offline?
Well,
Yes! Wait.
Well, we certainly need a lot.
I mean, we just need.
Hold on. I get 3. This is my first one. Okay, tell me this guy's not a younger version. Actually, wait, no, not at all. No, never mind. I'm not doing that one.
Power. I mean, why would you take any power off?
No, I am. Of the bishop guy from Alien. A little bit. Just a little bit, right? A little bit. Like a much younger version of him. A much younger version. A much younger version.
Flying.
Well, we certainly need a lot more baseload power. Intermittent sources of energy are more unreliable. And there are some states where, I mean, purple blue states where a Democratic governor is more honest with how this conversation goes, saying, yes, we need more baseload power. We need more reliable power. I was just in New England where they rely on foreign sources.
Why don't these fucking cocksucks ever have to answer a fucking question? Hold on, did I miss it? He said, why would you get rid of
any power offline?
Why would you get rid of any power?
Well, we certainly need a lot more baseload power.
Why is he allowed to answer that way? That wasn't the question. No one is saying anything about that.
Sources of energy are more unreliable. And there are some states where, I mean, purple blue states where a Democratic governor is more honest with how this conversation goes, saying, yes, we need more baseload power. We need more reliable power. I was just in New England where they rely on foreign sources of energy, where they can use more natural gas. Well, Williams Pipeline wants to build a pipeline called Constitution Pipeline, delivering natural gas from Pennsylvania into New England. We were just in Alaska with the National Energy Dominance Council, Secretary Wright, Secretary Burgum, where they want to build a liquid natural gas pipeline alongside of the Trans-Alaska pipeline, several hundreds of miles. And we had a bunch of foreign...
How can natural gas be a liquid if it's literally called gas? Idiot.
Leaders from Asian countries and elsewhere there because they want to be able to tap into it. There's a project in the southwest of the United States to deliver natural gas from New Mexico into Arizona. The understanding that we need more baseload power for this race for AI to make sure we're avoiding rolling brownouts, blackouts is huge. And anyone out there who wants to talk as if wind is going to be the answer, they're really missing out on the other 99% of the energy sources that our country needs more of.
Is there room for both? I mean,
what percentage of energy in the United States comes from alternative? What percentage of U.S. energy comes from wind and solar? Jesus. Wait, there's no way that's right. 10%? That's insane. Jesus. Wait, where? I would have thought solar would be more. Damn. Oh, solar is probably a lot more limited in terms of like the good places to put it. Although wind might be limited too in terms of where you could put it. Wood? Do we really just burn wood for energy? Damn. We doing our fire pits? Fuck you. DOT repaints Pulse crosswalk for a second time. FHP and OPD watching site. Florida Department of Transportation crew early Sunday painted the Pulse crosswalk back to black and white for a second time as supporters continue to try to restore the rainbow-colored crossing. Now police agencies are monitoring the site. Oh no! Not rainbow chalk on the ground! Jesus, why?
I was the one that urged the chairman in the committee to move forward the subpoena Ghislaine Maxwell. I think we need to get to the bottom of it. And I think President Trump wants to get to the bottom of it. And you know good and well, if Trump was on any of those files, anything that was bad and negative towards him,
Biden would have released it.
The administration would have put it out. They had it for 4 years. Trump knew this guy, and he said he was a dirtbag. He banned him from Mar-a-Lago over 15 years ago before he was suicided. So I just think this thing
before he was suicided
is a bad situation. And I don't know if we'll ever get to the bottom of it because I don't trust the Biden administration because they had those files for 4 years.
How does Biden get blamed? How does Biden get blamed for this one? Goes into prison under Trump's watch, dies under Trump's watch. Then Biden comes in for 4 years. Now Trump is talking about releasing the files. Somehow it's all Biden's fault still.
4 years. I don't know what they've removed or doctored or changed. I don't trust them as far as I could throw the dome off the Capitol, brother. And dadgummit, we need to get to the bottom of it. That's why people, when you delay these things, it just allows the corruption to creep in. And I'm thinking that I think that's what has happened now. And
okay.
Last night, I was surprised to see President Trump on Truth Social go after me and Senate Republicans over what we call the blue slip. The people in real America don't care about what the blue slip is, but in fact, it impacts in their states the district judges who serve their communities and the U.S. attorneys who ensure the law and order is enforced.
And that was Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley this week on the Senate tradition of blue split. After President Trump posted earlier remarks about Grassley denouncing attempts to block presidential nominations for ideological and political reasons. On Friday, the president posted on Truth Social comments Grassley made back in 2017 about not allowing home state senators to abuse the blue slip process. It came after a federal judge in Pennsylvania ruled that acting U.S. Attorney for New Jersey, Alina Habba, is unlawfully serving after President Trump and AG Pam Bondi extended her tenure by naming her acting U.S. Attorney rather than interim to fill the vacancy. Judge Matthew Braun, appointed by the bench by former President Obama in 2012, said Habba has not been rightfully the top federal attorney in New Jersey since July 1st, after a pair of criminal defendants challenged her appointment. One of the lawyers involved challenging in the lawsuit, former Hunter Biden attorney Abby Lowell. Bondi says she will immediately appeal the ruling, adding the DOJ will protect her position from activist judicial attacks. Habba is in this position because she has not had a confirmation hearing with the Senate Judiciary Committee, with Chairman Grassley honoring New Jersey Democrat Senators Cory Booker and Andy Kim's use of that so-called blue slip process. It allows senators to block certain nominees who would oversee their home states. The practice is a Senate tradition. It is not the law. Joining me now in the Sunday Morning Futures exclusive is the woman herself, the acting U.S. Attorney for New Jersey, Alina Habba. Alina, thanks so much for being here today. What are you doing about it?
We're fighting, as usual. You know how this administration works. It's the new roadblock. It's the new lawfare. It's the same thing that they tried with Tish James. And now they're doing it with U.S. attorneys and judges, and it's not just me. It's around the country, frankly. And this tradition that Senator Grassley is upholding effectively prevents anybody in a blue state from going through into Senate to then be voted on. Senator Booker and Senator Kim had...
Oh, my God. The politics of youth. Charlie Kirk versus Hassan Piker. Shaping the minds of Gen Z. What? Bro, this... They didn't Photoshop this, right? Who's going to win, in your opinion? I think they're going to mostly agree on things.
Absolutely every right to vote no for me for the U.S. attorney position. But I had the right as the nominee to get in front of Senate and to be voted on, to be vetted. I never even got there. Of course not. I was, according to them, unqualified. Why? Look at Hakeem Jeffries' tweet. Because I arrested a congresswoman for a charge of assaulting a police officer. And you know what? I stand by my work as the U.S. attorney, and I won't be intimidated by this type of political rhetoric.
What do you want to say about Senator Tillis? Tom Tillis, a member of the Judiciary Committee, has stated publicly that if Chairman Grassley tried moving a district judge or U.S. attorney through the Judiciary Committee without a blue slip, he would oppose that nominee. And that means we would not even have the votes to pass a nomination like Habba out of committee because Tillis would vote no along with the Democrats.
It's not surprising. You know, they're trying to look at this as they all need to get along to go along, but they're not looking at what this does. The president was rightfully voted in by a majority of Americans, and he is entitled to pick his U.S. attorneys, his Department of Justice officials, his judges, so that we can continue the agenda that the American public voted for, which is to get rid of crime. In the state of New Jersey in June alone, we arrested over 300 criminals, illegals, rapists. What is so bad about that work? The truth is it has nothing to do with the work that we're doing. It has nothing to do with the crime that we're stopping. It has to do with trying to prevent President Trump from continuing his agenda, and it has to stop.
Yeah, they keep saying majority of Americans, but it was less than 50%. You got a plurality. They should say a plurality of Americans, but...
So I would say to Senator Tillis and Senator Grassley, you are becoming part of the issue. You are becoming part of the antithesis of what we fought for 4 years. The same reason Tish James just got overturned in the appellate division, because it was a hoax and it was misuse and abuse of power. And we cannot allow and promote that kind of behavior. It is not just about me. It is about people across the country, U.S. attorneys across the country that just want to do right by Americans that voted for President Trump in this administration.
Alina, you think there's more to it as well, because your first assistant was in the wedding party of the federal judge, right? Tell me more about that and the relationships behind the headlines here.
Yeah, in New Jersey, we had a very strange situation that I was made very aware of months ago. Yes, the Department of Justice official who was named to replace me was very close with federal judges that voted me out and voted her in. It was not a typical situation. It was not a partisan situation. It was solely, let's get our person in. What they don't understand is Article 3 judges do not pick the U.S. attorney for the state. The president, Pam Bondi, the attorney general, that's who picks it. And they had a collusion, a plan. I'm aware of it, and the Department of Justice is aware of it, and soon enough it will come out. It was inappropriate, it was unethical, and frankly, senators ordering the judges in tweets to vote against me was also inappropriate. And it was all because of one arrest I made, which I stand by.
Wow. All right, Alina, we're going to be watching this story. We so appreciate your time.
Wow.
Minister, let me ask you about something that President Putin said in June. He said, quote, I consider the Russian and Ukrainian people to be one nation. In this sense, all of Ukraine is ours. Does President Putin believe that Ukraine has a right to exist?
No, this is not true. Ukraine has the right to exist, provided it must let people go. The people whom they call terrorists, whom they call specious, and who during several referenda in Novorossiya, in Donbass, in Crimea, decided that they belong to the Russian culture, and the government which came to power as a result of the coup was determined as a priority to exterminate everything.
But as you also know, a number of those people did not want Russia. A number of those people did not want Russia to invade. Mr. Foreign Minister, do you acknowledge that Russia invaded Ukraine?
Well, democracy is about the people, having a chance to vote. The people voted. The people pronounce themselves. And
did Russia invade Ukraine, Mr. Foreign Minister? Did Russia invade Ukraine?
Russia started special military operation to defend the people whom Zelensky and his predecessor did not consider as humans. They called them beings, suspicious. You should look. You should really. I understand that you need something to sell today, but if you are raising and touching upon so serious things, my suggestion is to take a look at the history of Ukrainian development after the coup in 2014.
But it's a yes or no question. It's a yes or no question, Mr. Foreign Minister. Do you acknowledge Russia invaded Ukraine?
I said to you that we started special military operation to protect the people whom the regime declared terrorists and enemies, and whom the regime was bombing.
Mr.
Based.
Right. Unfortunately, we are seeing some prominent voices more and more attacking Israel on a daily basis, repeating the talking points of the anti-Semitic left. We're seeing
what?
A convergence on the right and left,
also
and I think that is really frightening. A friend of mine asked recently, imagine how American political history would be different if Rush Limbaugh had been an anti-Semite instead of a philo-Semite. We would have a very different politics in America. Thankfully, Rush understood that it is in America's national security interest to stand with Israel, because Israel is a strong ally who stands unequivocally with us. And on the right...
Oh, no.
I did cancel the Cuba trip, yes, because I didn't want to go to prison. And unfortunately, he's going to run. He won't do it.
Why would he go to prison? The reason why he doesn't want to go is because there's no clout or money involved. That's why, right? It's just so everybody understands that.
No, he'll do it. We're locked in. What's the context behind you saying U.S. deserved 9/11? Very simple. American foreign policy and intervention in the region directly caused blowback and led to 9/11.
Directly caused blowback. Isn't the whole point about blowback is that blowback is indirect? Oh yeah, he wouldn't be able to stream either because the internet's not that great.
Are you a Radiohead guy in? I'm not. I've never been a Radiohead guy. Anisha was like, oh, Radiohead's so great. I listened to a couple songs. I'm like, oh yeah, Radiohead is great. And then we get some info that Radiohead is a little bit like Zionist coded. So we stopped listening to it.
Absolutely based.
Are you a Radiohead guy in? Dude, I've been having so much fun watching the fucking H3 thing, like, just go nuts. It's been like a new little surprise every day. And it makes me happy. I want to, like, react to some of the slanderous comments about me in, like, a stream in the future. I think I'm going to release a video and just promote the stream and then fucking spill my guts on stream once we're in September. Be careful, bro. Yeah. No, there's nothing to be careful about now. I'm like, I feel very free to speak my truth. Yeah, I agree, Bri. Yeah, because it really doesn't help to fucking play by the rules and be, like, super fucking reasonable. I think there's a time where you need to, like, pull back.
Oh my god, why does everybody say this? Oh.
I even said it in my, like, content comp is essentially like, yeah, you can't keep volleying back harassment back and forth. But when people just, like, continue to do it, it's like, I'm just taking a bunch of fucking heat for no benefit at all.
Where was somebody linked this? I think I was offline and somebody linked some video of the corn guy debating me a long time ago, saying that my audience was like an abusive, harassing audience. And I was, and it was like I had the most cucked position ever where, dude, I do so much to control my audience. Do I have, fuck. I don't even know how I could find that clip in chat. Somebody linked it within the past 2 or 3 days.
The cost of buying.
Shut up.
Jarvis, make her slim thick. Jarvis, make her 9 feet tall. Yes. I want you to look like the Na'vi. Change the skin to blue. And give her a tail. Let's take the jiggliness up by 45%. Make a bounce. Jarvis, let's take down the naughtiness by 15%, please. But increase the sassiness by 14%. Jarvis, increase jiggliness by 30%. Jarvis, increase the width of her eyes by 55%. I want them damn near in her ears. Sorry.
Oh yeah, it was this.
Other proactive steps could I take besides telling people?
Great
wait, hold on.
question.
Wait. Let me just finish my thing. I know you're really excited. Let me just finish. What other proactive steps? What kind of proactive steps can I take beyond telling people, hey, which I've said a million times, and I'm sure even other content creators have heard me say this. If I catch you guys harassing people in other communities or going on Twitter and typing transphobic, misogynist, whatever horrible shit, I'm going to ban you in every single community that I have. What other proactive steps can I take?
I cannot believe how cucked my community is compared to all the other communities on the internet. And people are like, oh, you're the master harassers when we fucking can't do anything. It's okay. We just have to be better. Okay? Better human beings.
Any of the, I want to get to security guarantees, but very quickly, if Russia is allowed to keep any of the territory that it illegally seized, What message does that send to China? Does it give China a green light to invade Taiwan? Does it give Russia a green light to invade other European countries, which is what your European allies are concerned about?
Well, first of all, the Ukrainians are going to ultimately make the determination about where you draw the territorial lines in their own country. But Kristen, this is how wars ultimately get settled. If you go back to World War II, if you go back to World War I, if you go back to every major conflict in human history, they all end with some kind of negotiation. We're actually...
Wait. Why would you choose the worst two? World War I ended with like 3 great empires literally collapsing. World War II ended with a complete utter annihilation of countries. What are you talking about? Why would you use these examples?
Actually not active parties in the negotiation. We're effectively mediating. We're trying to mediate the Ukrainians and the Russians to come to...
Like the negotiations, like there were such, like, yeah, we negotiated twice with Japan. Like, what are we talking about? Jesus Christ.
Some agreement. If the Ukrainians are willing to say something on territory that brings the conflict to the close, we're not going to stop them. We're also not going to force them because it's not our country. We're trying to play a constructive role. The president is trying to play a constructive role to bring peace to the region, but he's not going to force these parties to walk through the door. All he can do is open the door and ask them to negotiate in good faith.
Then what are we doing there?
A huge drop in...
I saw this last night.
A huge drop in viewer numbers.
Oh, Charlie, you're such a pussy. Just say the names. Just say who it is. Just say it. Just say the number went down. That doesn't mean that they did it. Just say the number. Like, why is he... Just do it. Is this the reason why people like him and hate me? It's because I'm the one that's the asshole?
Over the last couple of days, out of nowhere. Namely, OTK seems
what
to be
the fuck? Why would he say me? I hate this guy.
It's got to be a joke, right? Like if you watch the full VOD, he's like laughing afterwards, right? It has to be. It has to be. It is. Yeah, okay. The biggest threat to America isn't Hamas, Venezuelan gangs, or violent migrants. It's upper middle class, primarily white women who would import all of the above to destroy the country in order to satisfy their suicidal empathy. Yes, that's definitely the biggest threat to America right now. It's Hamas, Venezuelan gangs, and violent migrants. Absolutely true. Raja Jackson, 25, son of Quentin Rampage Jackson, attacked wrestler Stuart Smith last night, nearly killing him. Jesus. Wait, what? Ooh. Whoa! Whoa! Hello? Man, that wrestling sure does look a lot more real than I remember it being. Jesus. Read the backstory. The kid is fucked up from his dad's abuse. I want to clear up the misinformation about my son, Raja. Is that how you pronounce it? I've been confirmed that the wrestler is awake and stable. Raja was unexpectedly hit in the side of the head by him moments before Smith's match. Raja was told that he could get his payback in the ring. I thought it was a part of the show. It was bad judgment and a work that went wrong. Raja is an MMA fighter, not a pro wrestler, and had no business involved in an event like this. I don't condone my son's actions at all. He suffered a concussion from sparring only days ago and had no business doing anything remotely close to physical contact. As a father, I'm deeply concerned with his health and the well-being of Mr. Smith. That being said, I'm very upset that any of this happened, but my main concern now is that Mr. Smith will take a speedy recovery. I apologize on his behalf and to Kick for the situation. Jesus. Watch the lead up. It's so fucking sad. The wrestler apologized for stunt crushing a can on the kid. The wrestler thought Raha was a performer since he was backstage and filming. Jesus. Context. Full story. 1 minute and 47 seconds. Wow.
What, you don't know me? Hell no. Yeah.
Hey, hey, I think that's a little. Oh, you don't show it? Easy. He's not a fucking worker, bro. Calm down.
Yeah, what is that? You're good. No, they didn't tell me to fake him. They said I could hit him for real. Yeah, they allowed me to hit him for real.
Oh, you don't
me? Hell no. Yeah.
Hey, hey, I think that's a little.
Oh, somebody said he hit the can on his own hand? Is that the stunt or whatever?
Hey, I think that's a little.
Or he squeezed the can?
Oh.
I feel like he must have done something like that, because I feel like if he would have actually smashed the can on this guy's head, I feel like the response would have been way more, like, visceral.
Yeah, they allowed me to hit him for real.
Now they don't look anything
We don't look anything like. We don't.
She said you look alike and it's a bad thing.
This motherfucker ugly as fuck. We look nothing alike. He look like.
Oh. Wait, I understand the context a little bit now. Wait, so what? Like, wait, is this guy like a performer or something, and then this guy is the other dude, or something like that?
My brother though. Hey, you might be my fucking nephew.
Wait.
You look just like my brother.
Who? Which one?
This is his father? Oh, never mind then. Wait, then why the fuck was I linked this? As context. It's not context. Fuck you, whoever linked this then. That's all the... Okay, thanks.
Hell.
No, I know you will. Oh, you don't show it? He's not a fucking worker, bro. Calm down.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
You're good. What
the fuck was that?
You don't sell it? No, he's not a fucking worker, bro.
What the fuck was that? Hold on. I don't play that shit, bro.
Oh, sorry.
Nah, I will fuck him
we're
up,
good.
bro.
I know you will. We're good.
I will fuck him up, bro. I don't play that shit.
Sorry about that.
Nah, I will fuck him up, bro.
I know you will. I got you.
I do not play that shit at all.
Nah, I got you. You good. Apologize for that, man. Fix that.
Jesus. At 16:11, it shows Raja on the phone after fleeing, and listen to his reaction.
Raja Obama.
Chat. What's that?
Hello? shit pissed me off though, Andre.
I understand that, but now they can't wake the nigga up. He's fucking in the ring, fucking flatline, bro.
My bad.
My bad.
You didn't have to fucking take it there.
Alright, I'll call you back later.
Let's go. Ready? Get in the car. Let's go.
As you can tell by the heavy breathing and the pacing around, Raja did not want to hear that that guy is not awake and flatlined, probably thinking that he killed him and facing a lot more jail time than what he's already facing, attacking him. Thankfully, from Rampage Jackson, Raja's dad, we know that Psycho Stu is awake and stable, and that he does not condone any of Raja's actions, that he suffered a
Did you get jumped by a bunch of dudes in tights?
You said what?
On your stream, you was hugging on a dude in some damn tights.
Man, shut the fuck up.
Man, you shut the fuck up. I looked at your stream, nigga. You were hugging on some dude in some booty shorts.
I wasn't fucking hugging on nobody.
I saw you, nigga. I saw you hugging on your coach.
Sexual fantasies. You need to stop that shit.
No, I don't got no sexual. Not around a bunch of dudes with some damn
I'm at a fucking pro wrestling show. Exactly. Watch. My dad can't never call me a bitch. Straight up. How many subs to knock him out?
He rage baited his kid into almost murdering somebody. Jesus.
That's a good question. I'm gonna fake crash out. All right, bet. You about to see how fake of a crash out I am. Now I get a chance to get in the ring and do some shit to him. Exactly. People think this shit's sweet. People think this shit's a fucking game. Straight up, bro. Tired of everybody fucking playing with me and shit. Think I'm always playing and shit. Call me bitch and shit. Not no fucking bitch, bro. At the end of the day, I'ma stand up for my fucking self because I'm tired of everybody fucking playing with me, bro. Real shit. Exactly. Watch. My dad can't never call me a bitch. Straight up.
If you have heard of this interview with Rampage Jackson back in 2009, it's a callback, but hilarious / weird / insane. He just straight humps a reporter for 30 seconds. Wait, so Rampage Jackson is this guy's dad? Right? Yes, okay.
Absolutely. Well, you're very good at it. So,
I try my best.
well, I have an idea for a romantic comedy starring you and me.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's about a wrestler who falls in love with a ring girl. What do you think? You in?
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Am I in?
You're in. Let's do it right now. Cut. Okay, there's only one more. Now, if you could get into the octagon with any celebrity, who would it be?
Lucy Liu.
Lucy Liu. All right, there we have it. All right, well, that's all we have with Rampage Jackson for the day. Thank you, Rampage.
You're welcome.
All right.
Awesome.
You have to give me all this footage. You do know that, right? Thank you so much.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Okay. Simply epic. Back when women knew their place.
Hey! 1A! 1A! 1A!
Jesus Christ. Stop.
You run in on his shit, you fucking give him his receipt. Remember what a receipt is? Give him that fucking receipt, bro. Tag his shit. If you got a fucking problem with it, I'll fucking run out there. Tag his shit, bro. You run in on his shit, you fucking give him his receipt. Remember what a receipt is? Give him that fucking receipt, bro.
Did this guy mean he needs to go beat the shit out of him, or was he just saying like go like have a thing in the ring like where it's not, they're not actually supposed to kill each other? Oh, hold on. TLDR, Raja Jackson was fully aware. Stu thought it was a work, was told by Reno, the co-owner of Knox. A spot would be set up between the two. No spot was set up the whole show. AJ Manna then proceeded to tell Raja to give Stu a receipt. Raja Jackson took this as permission to attempt first-degree murder. A receipt is when you hit someone to let them know they actually hurt you, but it's usually only done once, and it's a mutual respect thing. Somebody said this is a receipt.
Broad. Wait a minute. And now Brock Lesnar trying to pick the leg of Strowman. That clubbing.
Oh,
wow. A knee to the jaw. A knee to the jaw. He caught Lesnar good. A knee to the jaw caught Brock good. And Brock got him back.
Lesnar just threw a bomb.
Broad.
Wait a minute.
Got him. Was this the thing outside? Yeah. Okay. Damn. Asmongold thinks viral clip of Zoran Mamdani benching 135 will damage his reputation. It doesn't work.
By the way, this Zoran Mandami had a really, really bad time. So it wasn't because of his policy. It wasn't because of anything else. It was because he couldn't do a bench press. That's right, guys. He couldn't bench press 135 pounds. You know what's really funny about this? I think this is really going to damage his reputation. I think it will. This will legitimately damage people's perception of him. By the way, this Zoran Mandami.
Do you think Asmongold's even like looked at a gym in his life?
I am Mantis.
Does Code Miko still stream a ton or at all? XQC1 Streamer of the Decade. Oh my god. Oh wait, there is an Asmongold at the gym clip.
Are you kidding me? Did I need to? Yes. What do you mean?
Asmon, you coming's a big moment, okay?
Oh,
we had to tell all the game devs not show up.
Oh, true, and artists too. Dude. Oh my god.
I was gonna get her one, but I don't size you.
I can hold your stuff if you need it. What do you think of it? It's good. You want to show me around?
Yeah.
I want to look around.
Asmon, you wanna try?
Oh god.
You can do. Come on, Asmon.
Yeah, you got the shit, Asmon.
So put like one right here.
Yeah.
That's good.
There you go.
Oh my god.
There you go.
He's a Terminator.
That's 3, right?
That was 1,000.
Damn, you did that quick.
Yeah. I think you do 95 easy.
45 pounds.
Yeah.
It's not 145 pounds. Because 145 probably, that'd be hard.
Hypocrite. Wow. No. What? Sakura's not going to be on stream anymore with Jason the Ween? What?
I say anything. I'm not gonna be weird and not say anything when I skip these clips, but please don't say any more clips of Sakura in my com anymore. I'm just gonna skip, and my mods are gonna remove. She's gonna do her own thing. I'm gonna do my own thing, and yeah, bro, she's not gonna be in my stream anymore. That's it. That's that. I wish her nothing but the best though. Okay. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. I already know y'all about to go crazy, but like.
Did you cover the Jason drama? What happened? I have no idea what happened.
Keep it pushing. I'm not gonna be weird and not say anything.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Parted ways. That means they broke up?
Obviously, this was very sudden. I did have a conversation with Jason yesterday, just to talk about everything, and it really has damaged me, and it literally has nothing to do with him, which is really hard.
Why do people have to publicize every part of their life? I'm just kidding. Epic.
Because it really was affecting that aspect of everything as well. And I think that's where I thought that it was better for us to go our separate ways. Just thought that it was better for us to
From what I read, it was caused by her still talking to her ex-boyfriend. They dated for 2 months? What? They went to a streamer prom thing that was supposed to be just for content, and then they actually started dating.
Go our separate ways, just with everything, and
How old is this person?
obviously,
She looks like she's 20.
Jason and I did start out. It's just content, but I know it's pretty obvious that there was something going on behind the scenes with the two of us. But
It's Kai Dai's sister. Oh, thank you. Now I understand.
I just have way too hard of a time dealing with other people's opinions in my relationship and everything that I do, and just constantly something I didn't want to talk about, but I will. Just people saying leaked messages with my ex. There was no malicious intent behind that. That has nothing to do with why Jason and I aren't talking anymore. It was literally just him dropping, asking if I wanted things to be dropped off. It's nothing weird. That was a long time. That relationship was a long time ago. And obviously, Jason wasn't insecure about it. Jason's fine. That's not the problem at all. But I'm just a human too.
I'm sorry.
And
I'm sorry.
I really did try a lot to push down from getting a lot of hate. I tried for months to let it go. And I know that's not Jason's core community, and that's not my community either. And I kept trying to tell myself that it's all these people that, are just unhappy.
Is it something serious or is this a joke? I don't even know.
No, it is definitely serious. I'm not gonna lie.
What happened?
I have no idea, but I'm not gonna lie. It is definitely unless I'm the fucking method, it definitely seems serious. No troll.
Did I miss something? I don't know if I'm being trolled right now.
No. I'm genuinely, unless you and I are both the method.
I'll be back in 5 seconds. Made him end. Oh my god. Oh my.
Okay. Wow. He almost had another anxiety attack, guys. I'm sorry. Jesus.
On Ultimate Fighter when you're breaking the door? Were you on that clip of you on Ultimate Fighter when you're breaking the door? Were you on roids yet?
No. No, I wasn't on.
Like,
I would say roids, motherfucker. I never done roids.
It is steroids.
No, it's not.
Testosterone is steroid.
No, it's not. It's a different molecule. That's what I was told.
No, it's not.
Yes, no, that's what I was told.
Well, I'm going to tell you the truth now. Testosterone is a steroid hormone. Roids and steroids, testosterone, all the same thing. They think roids, they think, bodybuilder, tons of gear, tons of steroids, tons of roids. The reality is the amount size is different.
I did steroids?
Yeah.
But even though I was on testosterone, I was still natty.
What does he think natty means?
Yeah, they lied. That's not true.
I don't believe that, man.
The truth, I swear. I swear to you.
Okay, based. Oh, hold on. We have a mod announcement from the subreddit. Starting tomorrow, we will be doing daily Israel-Palestine mega threads. Let me explain why. Over the last few months, we've been trying to figure out where IP postings belong in the sub. We've been called a sub that is full of rabid Zionists, a sub that has become, like all others on the platform, anti-Israel, and everything in between. It's a frustrating tightrope to walk because this sub first and foremost is supposed to be centered around the video game Destiny and Destiny 2. For quite a while now, Destiny has taken a step back from talking about the conflict. Why? You make that sound so dramatic. It's boring, so I just don't talk about it as much. I haven't taken a step back from talking about it. Some people really hate that he doesn't cover the conflict anymore. Some think it's a convenient timing or whatever. It may be they want to assume or hypothesize. Last year, even at the height of the conflict, Destiny's coverage, Forethought had us basically nuke every post because it consumed the subreddit. Over time, we started to allow it again towards the end of the year, and eventually, once again, it's become like 1/4 of the posts on the sub. When Trump took office, it became even worse. Let me answer a couple of facts around the topic of IP in the subreddit. Have you seen the new Elephant Graveyard video? Yeah. Why not just allow all posts and allow people to discuss the conflict openly? In an ideal world, we could allow all posts around all subjects to just flow freely. This conflict is very important to a lot of people, and with that comes the passion behind the subject. That passion manifests in a lot of emotions and words that frankly break the terms of service of this platform. It is my job to make sure the subreddit stays up, and having admins constantly having to remove things from posts that get out of hand leads to our sub not looking great in the eyes of the admins. I don't believe him. Zionist shill. Guaranteed. Why not just heavily moderate the topic and posts about it? I wish that we were able to moderate each and every comment before they are reported, but it's just not possible. These threads can end up with comment threads that go 30 to 40 comments deep, and we can't actively moderate that kind of situation. Why is this change happening now? I kind of covered this throughout a few of these answers, but it mostly comes down to our ability to fairly moderate this topic, or the topic. We don't have any moderators that are super on one side or the other. That's not true. I look into those chats. They're all rabid pro-Zionists. What we do have is almost every moderator who's tired of the same things being talked about over and over in an uncivil manner. It's exhausting when these threads go sideways and someone will go through and do 25 plus reports on every pro-Israel person or every pro-Palestine person. We read every single report that is sent, and it's a lot of work for a conflict that doesn't hardly covers anymore. I'll answer more questions in the comments, as you all probably have some. We think that doing a daily thread allows the topic to still be covered and makes it easier to moderate. I've been waiting for this day since October 8th. Ooh. Damn.